Breaking news. Duggar family notes that you won't want to miss. First up, lately, Jinger Duggar has sent some amazing images on Instagram, perfectly capturing the beautiful from her sister Jan's memories. Duggar wedding to Stephen Wisman's Ginger's touching caption read, "We honored the pleased couple, Jinger Duggar, Stephen Wisman, delighted in plenty of lovely time with relatives, visited pals and consumed enough of mouth-watering meal. Until next time, will be acquiring closer inspection of these touching images and the legends behind them following next." Ginger's selfie taken with her sister Jill Duggar. Dillard attended the wedding and had generated a tsunami of fan responses with theories whirl around the sisters' relationship. May this be an indication of healing inside the Duggar family? Stick roughly Jill, who has been somewhat cut off from the family following her public disclosure of Ginger's upbringing, decided to publish these pictures. Imply a need to keep outward manifestations of familial unity, even as fans question what the true narrative might be. Certain supporters even conjectured that Jinger, then her family, might have stayed with Jill for their visit, considering the constant conflict with their parents, Jamie, Bob, and Michelle Duggar. This theory contributes to the suggestion that Jill's house might be refuge for siblings who have cut off their ties to the families. More limited ideas, but not simply about the pictures. Fans also eager to learn about the talks that would have happened between Jill and Jinger, accompanied by a new Calvinist views, a clear break from the family's conventional instruction. Then Jill's personal spiritual trip. There is many conjecture on how there are two sisters negotiating their different paths, yet still, despite clearly there are variances in a link among them that has withstood the strains of their family's history. As usual, dynamics for the Duggar family still provides an unlimited supply of curiosity over every fresh social media post. Us a window into their changing. Recent posts Jinger sent to Jill had generated a tsunami of fan hypotheses and chats, reminding us that even in the public view, the ties of family can be complex and strong at the same time. Be monitoring any more closely any further advancements and distribution to you right here on The Glory. We would want to know about your comments. Reveal, what do you consider the actions of Jinger and Jill? Relationships are closer than ever, or is conflict still buried under the surface? Tells us next. We're diving onto a subject that has been humming among supporters: how the younger Duggar daughters, sometimes called the Lost Girls, these are appearing better than ever. But is it only a matter of them growing up, or is there something more underlying their latest glow up? Stay around while we investigate the most recent fan comments about issues and hypotheses regarding these Duggar brothers. First of all, it is difficult to accept that Johannah Duggar is today the same age. Delight Anna felt when entering her first courtship time truly flies. Not that it. Supporters have been thinking about this, with some even conjecturing that Johannah could get married throughout the following few years, maybe seeking a way out of the extended shadow thrown by Jana, imprisoned at Vuolo for so long. The concept that the younger Duggar generation might all, within the following 5 years, be married. Both intriguing and a touch disturbing for many dedicated fans, but let's discuss their appearance and health. Many of the Duggar supporters have observed that particularly Josie, females are looking especially excellent than anything seen in recent pictures. Josie, who is sometimes referred to as looking sickish or like a lollipop's kid today, appears better and more standard, if you will, but for a regular, what exactly means? Some fans of Duggar wonder whether natural changes from growing up or whether more is happening behind the scenes explain their better looks. It's fascinating to see how views of health one can impact it with something as basic as a tan or more full face. Even some supporters are fast to highlight appearing tan does not always mean cruel person is healthy. Others have said that Josie and the other girls seem more lively and less pallid than in, of course, the past. Worries about their mental health nevertheless remains, particularly given the strain many young women experience within the public opinion and inside their own family. There are other enthusiasts who have observed finding striking parallels between the younger daughters and other members of For example, some believe the Duggar clan, for instance, that Jennifer looks much like Reagan R. taken from young Sheldon. Others have, meanwhile, pointed out Jessa's beginning of starting reflect her mother Michelle more and more as she ages. Seems like the strong family genes in Duggar are producing themselves known during generations. One fan even noted how challenging it might be able to differentiate the younger daughters in visuals. Others felt relief at while others expressed how decent they all looked in a recent image, yet not everyone finds pleasure with the way the Duggar girls are shown online. The wife of Jeremy Vuolo, Jinger, was demanded for publication what some supporters considered to be regarded as the worst photos of his wife starts a conversation on how the Duggar presents themselves on social media. Media. What then do you believe to be the lost girls just becoming their own, or is there more behind their lately shining up? And what about the conjecture that they may all be wed off inside? Few years later, at last we are diving. Discover some fascinating Jinger news. Duggar Vuolo and her most recent tour of the notable large mansion the Dig family owned Arkansas home appears. Jinger still retains despite her more liberal lifestyle and subtle critiques of her background certain area of her mother's heart. But would this friendly welcome last? Let's investigate the dynamics Jinger is using. Duggar has tread a careful path in between, separating herself from the ultra-conservative principles from her upbringing, together with and preserving a rather pleasant rapport with most of her family while she has been forthcoming with her objections of the lessons Bill taught Gothard, the contentious man behind the family's values she has been carrying about, conscious to concentrate her criticisms more on the philosophy instead of straightforward insulting her siblings or parents. Here, the conciliatory approach seems to have got some favor, especially with regard to Michelle Duggar, her mother. Seems to many enthusiasts have a soft place for Jinger. Various conjectures that Jinger could be Michelle's preferred given her behavior, routinely welcomed back to the Duggar family home, even as others like her sister Enjoy Joan have had more unusual relationships. Following Jinger's careful advocacy, navigation of these complicated families, Dexter Denix, whereby she questions the cult-like environment she grew up in devoid of directly confronting her parents, seems like could purchase her more freedom, but the question stays how long this friendly welcome lasts. Especially should Jinger choose to tell more about her family within the future to sustain her income. It's worth noticing that although Jinger likes this pleasant welcome for her sister, Jill has seen more rocky road. Jill was on hand at a family Christmas holiday in 2023. Nobody showed up for the pre-wedding meal but Jill's more direct memoir style, in which she freely attacked her parents their way of living, apparently has resulted in her not as welcome in the large house. This differences between the sisters draw attention to the fine line the Duggar kids have to follow. Stroll to keep in the proper graces. The way their parents responded has been mixed. Some wishes the family might be more suited for realizing and letting both Jinger and Jill same access to their siblings, while some object to Jim, Bob, and Michelle for their rather selective approach. Hospitality. The conflict inside the family is tangible, and many of them hope one day the Duggar muses over the damage produced by their rigorous upbringing, giving their kids more liberty to spend their life free from concern for becoming ostracized. So what do you suppose? Will Jinger still finds great enjoyment in her preferred standing at the large home, or will the tides change depending on her choice to expose more on her background? And should Jill be given the same welcome notwithstanding her more clear voice? Communicate your ideas in the remarks below. Also remind you not to neglect join the famous for additional updates concerning the drama of the Duggar family.